Hello and welcome to today's presentation of the Accela Fire Prevention Civic application. Today we'll be looking at three main components of the solution, those being mobile inspections, agency or back office processing, and the customer citizen experience. Let's get started with mobile inspections. Here we are at the Accela mobile tool. This is the primary tablet-based tool which runs on iOS and Android for inspectors to process inspections in the field. So a little orientation here. On the left, I've got a list of inspections that are currently assigned to either me as the inspector or to my group. On the right, I've got a map-based interface that shows pins that represent the location of one or more of those inspections over there on the left. So this is a dynamic and interactive GIS-based map where we can push out any information required for your inspectors to do work out there in the field. So I'm going to go ahead and open up an inspection over here on the left. So I've got one inspection there. I do have the opportunity to interact with that as far as I can make a phone call to the representative or send them a text very easily. Over here on the left, I've got different components of that inspection. For example, here under Documents, if I click on Documents, I can see that we've got, looks like a pre-plan associated there, so I can have access to any digital documents that are a part of that inspection. But before we get into that, let's come up here to the top right. So there's this section here that says View Record. So I'll click on that. And that allows me to dig into, in this case, the occupancy. If I was doing an inspection on a permit, I would have all the permit details, etc. So over here on the left, I've got different components. For example, here under Custom Fields, I have all the custom data elements that we're storing against this particular occupancy. You have full availability to define what the data elements are, and even ability to integrate with other systems to pull in that information. Here under Documents, I've got all of the documents that are currently associated with that particular occupancy, right? So historical inspection reports, etc. And then of particular note, under Inspections here, I have the full inspection history for this particular occupancy, right? So I can see here back in 2018, from this screen, we've got the ability to look at all of these historical inspections, right? It looks like we were there in May of 18. That was listed as re-inspection. We came back out a week later, or a month later. And then as the years go on, we have full history of everything that's going on there. And I can drill into any of these and see any of those notes, any photos that were taken, etc. Right? So I have full history of what's going on at this particular property before I even walk in the door. All right, so I'm going to pop back out and we'll just highlight one of the features, one of the key features here called checklists. So we have the opportunity to operationalize your fire code or any other type of checklist that you might want an individual to go through for processing an inspection. For example, here I've got a checklist called High Rise. So here I've got a list of things that I need to look through. I'll go ahead and search for a particular item. I'll just look for the term alarm, right? So here I've got things that hit on alarm. Let's say I'll grab this one. I'll say that this one is a fail reinspection, right? So there's a little paper clip there that I can go ahead and take a photo, take a video, or choose one that I already had. I'll just choose one that I've already created. A photo I snapped earlier of a broken pull box. Click on add that. That'll go ahead and add that to the inspection. It's going to date stamp that on the photo as well as in the metadata of the photo. It will go ahead and capture the latitude and longitude information. All right, so I've uploaded that. I have the opportunity to leave a comment there. I can leave a narrative comment. I can use all the features of our iPad here. I can use that voice to text function, or we also have a standard comment library if I wanted to go ahead and find some standard verbiage to insert there. And then finally, this little clipboard here lets me see all the historical values for that checklist item, right? So I can see over time anything that may have failed in the past for that item. So the idea is you run through here and you can make all of these required as well or not, and the inspector would go through and identify where all the deficiencies are, right? So they can go through all of those. If they wanted to add a document or a photo at the inspection level, they can come to Documents, click on Add Attachment. I'll do take a photo. I'm in my office here, but I'll snap a photo of my laptop, right, and click on Use Photo. Again, it's date stamping that. The metadata is capturing latitude and longitude. If you did want, we even have the ability to annotate any of the photos as well. And then when we're ready to go ahead and wrap this up, we'd come up to the top left where it says Result. I would choose a status here, right? So the status is going to send this one way or the other. These statuses are fully tailorable. I'll set that to reinspection. I'll leave a, let's see here, I'll leave a comment from my library. And then finally, I have the ability to capture a signature from myself as the inspector, as well as the responsible party. I'll click on Submit. That goes ahead and packages up all that information and then triggers any downstream activity, meaning I set a few of those things to fail reinspection. That means the system's automatically going to generate a reinspection activity based on whatever the rules are that have been set for that inspection. And then finally, if we wanted to go ahead and generate an inspection report, we can click on Run Report, and then have a library here of reports. Obviously, we can tailor these to your specifications, incorporate the photos, etc. So that's a high-level overview of our mobile inspection tool set. Now that we've seen our mobile inspection demo, some key points we'd like to convey here is the modern mobile experience. These tools are using the latest cutting-edge technology for inspectors out in the field, which also allows them to increase field productivity, having all the information they need at their fingertips. And finally, an anytime, anywhere, and offline access tool, which meets the inspectors where they're at, helping them process their work in the field. For our next section, we'll be taking a look at agency processing, or the back office portal. So here we are in the back office view, or the agency portal for the Accela fire prevention tool. Now here in this portal, we can have access to lots of information. One of the options for a dashboard is this card-based view here. Each of these cards representing, something that's currently assigned to me. So when I log into the system, it knows who I am, and it will put things directly on my plate. For example, here's a permit review. Looks like a special event. I can click on that, and that'll bring me over to the application where I can interact, for example, with the workflow, right? So all the different steps that it's going to take, in this case, this particular permit to get to issuance, right? So I can have access to that, inspection history, documents, key information up top. So very easy to get to the work that I need to interact with that information, including any documents that I might need to review, etc. So, and then looking at occupancies, right? So we were out in the field inspecting an occupancy previous in our demo here. So I can see all of that same information from the back office. I've got this banner up at the top that gives me all the key information about that occupancy, and then down below, for example, the full inspection history, right? We can see information about inspection history, any documents that have been submitted, and then additionally, the ability to interact with data. So we have the opportunity to visualize lots of different kinds of data as it relates to our fire prevention program. So here I can see what's going on with my individual inspections, right? So I can look at inspections by, in this case, by station, completed inspections that have occurred, all of my inspectors, right? So the ability to take all this information that's stored within the system of record and visualize that, and not only visualize it, but make it actionable, right? So lists of tasks that need to happen here, overdue inspections. And then in addition to that, I'll take a look at our built-in mapping components. So we are fully integrated with geographic information systems, as we saw in our mobile tool, but we also have the ability to visualize all of that information here on the back end. So here I'm interacting with some data. I can select a particular property from the map and then interact with that, kind of understand what's going on. I can see that there's a property there, have the address information, and then here on there I have options to do things like create a new record, show me all the records that exist there. So it's not just visual, we can actually do work directly from here. So the back office tool allows you full access to all of your data. You have the ability to search, to visualize, to send tasks, run reports, and really manage the entire program from the back office, completely connected to both the mobile applications as well as the customer-facing portal. This is really where it all comes together for all of your tasks, assignments, etc. After that overview of the back office agency processing component of our tool, some key features that we've highlighted are the ability to automate and streamline workflows throughout the organization, providing data-driven decisions through dashboards and comprehensive GIS-based mapping, and then finally providing transparency through permit workflows interacting with all agencies, both members of the public and government. Now let's head over to our citizen experience. Now here we are at the customer-facing portal, or the digital front door for the Fire Prevention Bureau. Now we've got a lot of ability to tailor this particular page using the colors and pictures and text that you might choose to use. But ultimately, we have the ability to push out information to individuals about our program, leave key information, and then allow them to do things down below. For example, managing their records or even applying for a permit. Now let's say they weren't exactly sure what they wanted. We've got this big search bar up at the top, so I can just start typing things in and help me get to where it is I need to be. Additionally, this portal does offer different language packs for folks that like to translate the page, and it also does support the ability to use screen readers for folks that are visually impaired. So let's briefly take a look at some of the features here. For one, I'll click on the Manage My Records. So every user has the ability to have a login, a username and password, which they can use to manage, all of their work with the agency. So I've already got a user that I'll use to log into the system. So this individual's name is Richard, and when Richard logs into the system, he's got a couple of things going on here. For one, we can see that there is a shopping cart. So this is a fully e-commerce style portal, meaning that we can collect money at any point throughout the life cycle of an occupancy or a permit. Additionally, over here on the right, an area to group together possibly different permits or occupancies that individual has together. If they wanted to drill into that further, they can click on that and then find a given occupancy in this case, and then interact with that as necessary. We can see that this one is in an inspection stage. I've got some fees that are due. There's even a button to allow an amendment, meaning if I wanted to change something on an application, that is fully supported. So now let's quickly go take a look at what it seems like to apply for something. So I'll come down here below, click on Apply for a Permit, and now here I've got a number of different permits that I can go ahead and apply for. Of course, it is absolutely your decision as to which permits you'd like to make available online. I've just got a selection here, but there is no restriction as to what types of applications you can make available to your individuals online, and they can also use this portal to do things like manage renewals and inspection activity when appropriate. So I've got a couple of different options here: fireworks, hazmat, special effects, special events. I'll click on hazmat. So each one of the pages has this really nice service page where we can get detailed information about what it is we need to submit. And then I get into the application form. So now these application form can collect all sorts of different data, so we'll go ahead and fill this out and head to the end. Here I can select from account, meaning that I already have a profile, so I can go ahead and enter in that data directly. Also important to note, you do have the opportunity to save any of these applications where they're at by clicking that Save and Resume Later button. Custom data elements that may be required for an application. These custom data elements can be completely tailored and dynamic based on the questions asked throughout the application. We can also do help text throughout to help folks out. And then we've got the opportunity to collect digital documents. So here I can click on Add and upload a document. Here's the final page where I can take a look at everything before I submit. At this point, we can see that there is a fee associated with submitting this particular application, so I can go ahead and pay for that using the shopping cart functionality of the tool. I can see that I already had something else in my cart, so I can go ahead and pay for everything all at once. All right, now that I've submitted that application, I have the opportunity to go ahead and track the status of that as it's getting processed. I can always come back here to this dashboard and interact with any of the information. I can check this drop-down menu, look at any documents, add additional documents, and even see the processing status or the workflow associated. After that review of the citizen experience, we've shown how we can simplify the flow for all users by allowing comprehensive search, tools for vision-impaired individuals, and easy-to-read and understand applications. It's a one-stop shop for the public. The customer has the ability to pay for multiple applications at once, apply for many things, and track all their applications in one place. And overall, a tool like this improves your customer satisfaction and the willingness to do business with your jurisdiction. Thanks for joining today for our overview of the Accela Fire Prevention Civic application.